Hello and welcome everybody to another stunning rendition of Behind the Counter. I'm your host, Rich Stambolian, and with me as always is Jonathan Adler.
Hey!
All right.
Jonathan P.S. Adler.
Yes.
For your slow-mo.
Pretty slovenly.
I couldn't think of anything today. I figured we could do 1 week without me calling you something.
The human lung.
Mm-hmm. That's a terrible gimmick. Let me breathe for you, brother.
You need some help? Got you.
Are you breathing me?
He smells like shit.
Sorry, that's my breath. I was telling Jonathan before that I was sitting in my house after a day of work. We're a little under the weather today, and
You sound terrible.
I forgot I had a bathroom with a toothbrush and toothpaste in it, and I sat there and I'm like, I'm at a gum. My breath's gonna stink the rest of the night, like an idiot.
Well, I mean, luckily that I'm not close enough to really
Yeah.
to notice it, but maybe Andrew can give a review of.
I'm not gonna blow.
I'm not noticing anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coco's gonna smell it later on the microphone.
I'm also I can smell, like, if somebody's sitting there with bad breath, I could smell it.
Yeah.
I don't smell anything.
When his breath stinks, it just smells like old chicken.
Yeah, okay.
That's it.
I had a hot dog just now.
You did.
Yeah.
You did. We all watched that.
It was. Plus, we haven't eaten all day.
Yeah.
We're both really hungry.
Really.
Why didn't you take the hot dog?
Hungry for comics. It's like I got pizza waiting for me at home.
Oh, okay.
And I got spiked.
Yeah. That was actually me saying that.
Well, I do love you.
I tried to. Oh,
The royal, we love you.
Thank you. We love you. So again, kind of a slow news week. Maybe we're just not trying hard enough. But
No, I don't think. I don't think. You know what it is? I think the like the trickle of news information now is kind of slowing down because of how strong of a grasp Marvel and DC have in like non-disclosure agreements.
Yeah,
they are the ones that are releasing the information to us.
That's true. Well, I mean, like the only thing.
Yeah, the good old days.
Yeah, where everything ends up on the internet.
Not
like
how Cowboys and Indians anymore.
No.
Of like of some yellow journalist talking about when Superman's gonna die.
I hear Jeff Jones is doing this. The one thing I did hear was, which again, like you said, there's non-disclosure agreements that these guys can't talk about anything. But we're both huge fans of the Justice Society on the show, and the fact that with the relaunch they kind of got written out. But James Robinson, who's writing the Earth 2 book for DC upcoming, he let out very vague yet clear hints this week saying. It's a team of heroes on a different world that's much like our world, and they need to work together and form some kind of society. And they need speed and animal instinct and some green light. So, he's
Nothing specific about it.
Nothing's not at all. So you got a fast guy, a guy with green eyes. It's gonna be Jade, Jesse Quick.
Yeah, it would be pretty good if they actually gave us a really disappointing team of like
and Catman. Catman's awesome.
I would take Catman if it was like really disappointing characters on the JSA team, or it's just all like they make a black Alan Scott with like blonde hair, like Demolition Man.
You know what? I wouldn't. I feel like they tried to do that with Mr. Terrific.
Yeah,
but that didn't work.
It ruined him.
Yeah.
I really hope they end the series with them like murdering this guy.
I have not picked up any. I have not read anything past issue 1. I was just aggravated by it. You went from having a great Mr. Terrific story in the regular DCU to having him being like the Black Power playboy.
Well, Well, the whole thing with Terrific was he he's one of the better legacy characters.
Yeah.
Really unique design. Mm-hmm. And no matter what iteration that JSA was going through since the relaunch of JSA, he's been around and in a really good place. Like between JSA, he became one of the major components of Checkmate, which was incredible when Greg Ruger was writing it. He always had his his finger in the DC pie, and it was always a good finger.
Yeah,
never a bad finger.
Never the middle finger.
Never the middle.
It was either the thumb or the forefinger.
Yes, but he was always a great character, and it really feels like the fact that they chose him to be one of the relaunch books was it's an honor to him, and the fact that what type of character Mr. Terrific is, and that he can be a headliner,
right.
But in all honesty, I don't think he really is with that type of
Storytelling.
storytelling. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's dry.
Yeah.
Especially the character doesn't make any sense if you don't have it as a legacy character.
Yeah.
It's dumb if like a modern person actually comes up with the idea of a name is terrific and fair play as your
thing.
makes
Yeah.
no sense.
Yeah. It makes me yearn for the days when we used to flip through previews and you'd see like, oh, this book's coming out. Oh man, look at this creative team, and
Yeah.
then you'd snatch it no matter what. Now that's kind of like it's very few and far between.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sad, but James Robinson did like it's probably not going to be Changeling, Jesse Quick, and Jade.
It's gonna be a Raven,
Cyborg,
Raven the wrestler.
Nevermore.
That's Cyborg, so stupid. I in my head I call him Hotspot.
really?
Yeah, because like it just seems it's so I don't know. You could up your robot design game.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't really go. They really do anything with it. They did get away from like the guard belt thing that he always had going on.
Yeah,
It's like
underwear.
it's like like full body like wrestling like
Yeah.
leotard and then like garter belts and like you see the naked black skin. Like really, dude. Like you're like super high tech, but I'm gonna show a little bit of my thigh.
Just a
I want
little
to show a little bit where like I have to shave down.
That's what's
over here.
That's what's left. He has to hold on to that
That's
humanity.
what I got. How dare I'm disabled.
Blow on it. I gotta feel something. So you have that, and then like I'm just gonna go into my little like our little weird thing of
Me a weird thing.
Justice League this week with the mediocre Justice League. I don't know. Was it that tasty?
It's that's weird about the book. Aside from like the thing we're about to talk about, there's a really thin line between giving everyone a spotlight in a teen book and
Right.
acting like a kid that has crippling ADD.
Right.
But I feel like we've done so much crap with freaking like Green Lantern,
Yeah.
and he comes across as such a dick in that book.
Yeah.
Him and Flash are completely unlikable.
Yeah.
Batman is unlikable in that book. Superman is borderline because he's like almost like a bully.
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
big dumb bully. But like Green Lantern was like he was a really big chunk of the book, and his whole he's like a whiny like most of it your hot dog side.
I understand. I mean, like I understand. We were talking about this before about how like it seems like the tone is set in a very Silver Age kind of like way, like a very innocent way. But it doesn't like in my head the way I process data, that kind of stuff does not work with like intense Jim Lee art.
No.
Because it's like he's actually. And I will say this when I first picked up the book, I was like, great, like here's some more of the same crap. But this issue, it was gorgeous.
Yeah,
it was a
it's good.
very nice looking issue. There's a couple of panels here and there, but like I don't know if he stepped up his game, but it made it look more dynamic than he has in the past 4 issues.
No, it is with him. I my opinion on like
Yeah.
Jim Lee for the most part. Like I like the guy. I don't get excited for a project he's getting on,
Right.
and I've never said like, wow, what an amazing piece of art.
Right.
Like where you're looking at a bunch of artists we're gonna talk about later. They all have storytelling elements. Like his is just kind of like dudes standing around, dudes flying, or dudes punching each other.
It's posing, punching, it's
Yeah.
posing action. And,
It's like a product
yeah.
of my least favorite part of the comic book era, like the 90s stuff.
Yeah.
But it's just like very static, and like even when he does, because a lot of this stuff this issue was big cityscapes with like a ruined sky and a ruined like just rubble and stuff like that. It's just like kind of just boring. It's like the whole the location, just everything is just like dry.
Everything looks like L.A. to me.
It does look like L.A. But like nothing, it didn't grab me. It really didn't grab me. But please, let's talk about the best part of the book.
So these guys, again, apart from like the innocent tone and whatever it is, and like the hokiness of the characters, and it just seems like these guys don't have their shit together yet. Which I'm sure is going to go somewhere. But there's one scene, where like Darkseid invades the Earth, and there's one scene where Green Lantern gets his arm broken by Darkseid, and Darkseid walks away, and then Batman's like, "Hey, buddy, listen to me for a second."
Just like walks out from like the background.
Yeah, not doing anything. Just
like,
like,
hey.
he's like, "Hey, man, listen, me and you got a lot in common. I'm a man, and you're a man." And he's like, "Well, I got this ring." He's like, "You got to know how to use it first."
And bang him.
And during this whole thing, parademons are taking people away. They're like
swooping down, grabbing him.
Yeah, like swooping and grabbing people, and like all of a sudden, Batman turns around. He takes off his cowl, his protective helmet that he wears to not get brain damage. He takes it off, and he's like, "We're both men. I'm Bruce Wayne." And Green Lantern's like, "Who are you?" And then he's like, just you got to be the leader right now.
I'm a dude. You're a
He
dude.
turns around and puts both his arms up and looks into the sky, and a parademon grabs him and flies.
Two
him.
parademons grabbed by one each arm, like one, the old,
Yeah.
and they lift him off.
And-
Like what was that?
And they take him to Apocalypse. And it's the last page is him staring at the fire pits in Apocalypse, going like,
made a wrong turn.
"This stinks. Why'd I take my helmet off?"
Why did he take his helmet off? He took off his helmet and his cape.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know if he did to like, you should know me. I'm Bruce Wayne. Look at this face. You should definitely know his face. Like, I don't know his face. I didn't know your name. I don't know your face. I don't know his.
I'm not familiar with.
I'm not familiar with your work, Bruce Wayne.
I'm sorry, you're one of 6 billion people on Earth.
Book sucks, man. There's and I guess I'm like, it's not even. It doesn't even fall into the area like it's a guilty pleasure. It's just kind of like something I'm doing to see where they close out issue 6. 'Cause I feel like they're gonna do issue 6. Issue 7 will come out, and I'll be an entirely different team again.
Yeah,
And I feel like by issue 12, Jim Lee and Jeff Johns will be doing different stuff.
yeah.
Or Jim Lee will be not working ever again.
And maybe Jeff Johns will be Jeff Johns again.
That would be great. I don't think it's gonna happen, man. It's
But-
weird.
It's not a knock on it, man. I really think it's just like people are kind of griping about it because it's a Silver Age story with really intense art.
But if anyone's going to really, try and attempt a Silver Age style story, it should definitely be Jeff Johns. He's done it before. He's done it with Golden Age stuff. He can really, kind of capture the coolness and the hokiness of that stuff and make it, viable in a regular, modern setting. But it just doesn't have that energy. It doesn't have that, that feeling. It's lacking all the elements that I really enjoy about a Jeff Johns comic. There's nothing going on. Everything's in the foreground. Like the entire storyline is just happening with a bunch of these dudes like hanging out, making this team up and everything.
Yeah.
It's not terribly interesting, and everyone's personality is kind of like
Yeah. I think it got past the point where it could have been very interesting, but I'm a little uninterested. I'm also uninterested in the fact that Cyborg's still walking around, and he has nothing to do with anything unless he's like he is the Wi-Fi hotspot.
He is the Wi-Fi hotspot.
And Batman comes back to Earth through an opening in the hotspot.
Well, I don't terribly hate the idea of him being more than just a regular cyborg. That now he's like infused with like the Apocalypse technology and the boom tube and all this stuff, and he's a result of this, and he's kind of like has this weird energy. So it makes him, the stakes with him a little bit higher,
Right.
And more than because anyone can be a cyborg at the comic book. So I think that's a little bit of an improvement, but I just don't like his place in the fact that the very first team this guy ever joined was the Justice League.
Yeah.
I would like him to have been part of the Teen Titans lore.
Nope. Never gonna happen.
It's dumb.
Not gonna happen.
Unless he joins this and then like immediately after this he's supposed to join the Titans and start the Titans up.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
You never know. As like I fought with the Justice League, now I'm gonna mentor the rest of you weirdos. That could work. That could definitely work.
Yeah, like I'm not ready for this. So I'm gonna go to the Bush Leagues.
So Batman does come back from Apocalypse at one point.
Thank God.
'Cause he's in another book.
Thank you.
Again, I feel like that's not a good cliffhanger because
Whoa.
the dude's gonna get out of it.
Yeah, the last page is basically him staying on like a cliffside and just like looking at like Apocalypse like in the fire pit. He's like, whoa, wrong turn, dude.
Red. It would never say red. I should have brought more. If I was Batman, I would have been like, I should have brought more gadgets.
Yeah, dude. Bad choice. Let's get away from this book.
All right,
let's move on.
Let's move on. What are we moving on to?
Your choice, bro.
Yeah.
Your universe.
All right.
You are the king of the world.
Oh, parademons, take me.
Goodbye.
All right. Well, we how are we for time, Andrew?
We're like 10 minutes in.
You're 45 minutes?
We got 45 minutes left.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do this.
I like that. All right. So so we're gonna do like a new kind of little. It's not gonna be a segment, but what we have planned for today is that we're gonna talk about what new and or upcoming artists that we really dig, who maybe people don't
really know about.
Don't really know about,
and inform you.
And these guys and one lady is kicking all sorts of all over the place.
I forgot about the lady.
One lady. You want to start it up?
Yeah. Let's talk about a little bit of a gentleman named.
More words.
Well, I'm really interested this year. I think one of the best things that we could have, picked up on the shelves this year was Daredevil.
Yeah.
Two artists on those books. Marcus Martin, Paulo Rivera. Marcus Martin before this really came into the forefront in Amazing Spidey. Dude has amazing paneling ability.
Yeah.
He captures like a really old school like Steve Ditko kind of he does the skinny Spider-Man, not the built up Spider-Man. But what was interesting about the book and his art style was because you had the rotating art of Paulo Rivera and Marcus Martin, who are kind of similar in a way. They kind of were doing a little bit of a competition on that book to see who can top each other.
Right.
And Paulo Rivera, before he came with Daredevil, really had more of a painted style.
Yeah.
It was it was still beautiful stuff. It was more like he did stuff for like Marvel, like in prestige format.
Yeah.
Where it's like where they had a glossy cover and it was like a nice like old school like flashback book. But when he came into onto Daredevil, the dude adopted an entirely new style, and it's very similar to Mark Martin. And like the dude still, Paulo Rivera still draws the book now, and he's incredible. Like he's getting better and better.
Man. He's great, man. I feel like Marvel really they did a good job with putting him on Daredevil.
Yeah, man.
And that was like a go-to guy, especially with the lighthearted approach that he has, because he has a lighthearted art style.
Yeah,
like he can go both ways as far as like. Lightness and darkness going, like he's an awesome artist, but it works so well with the book, and that enhances the fact that this dude is like conceptually his art is fantastic.
Yeah,
like he did the whole thing in the Daredevil series with his how Daredevil sees the world.
Yeah, and the backup in the first issue.
Yeah, so it's all like it's just all lines of like.
The pink gridding that he does for the radar sense.
Yeah, that's all. It's like a black background with just pink lines, and you'll see somebody outlined completely in like these little pink lines, which I thought was great because I never really paid attention to that before. And one of the covers he did too was completely fantastic. There was
there's so many.
Yeah, I think it was maybe for issue 4.
The Spot one was really awesome.
That may have been the one I was thinking of.
The Spot one was really awesome. The Kang covers are really dope.
Claw.
I say Kang.
Is it
Oh my
Kang?
God, I'm so tired. The Claw, like the whole Claw storyline was amazing. But like, there's that same scene that you were talking about in the end of the first issue, where it's like you basically it was Foggy Nelson and Matt Murdock taking a walk. So you had a big layout of of the entire few city blocks that they're walking on, and certain areas like someone in front of a newspaper, somebody dropping something. That part of it where it's the impact, you'd see the little
the sonar
going on. It's like it's little segmented pieces of it. It's just really cool. Like that, he really helped establish. Both of them really helped establish that book to be an Eisner quality book. This is like
absolutely.
It's something that is. You have to think of the Eisners are always going above and beyond the Call of Duty of comics. You're going beyond the idea of like what a monthly comic should be, and you're creating a bit of a masterpiece. And this book is completely from the writing team, we talked about in length, but the art team is incredible. Marcos has moved on. He's not dead. He's just in a different book now.
He hasn't passed on.
So Paulo Rivera is going to be the main artist, and God bless him, man. He's an awesome artist.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff, which is definitely different than it has been for the past 10 years, is that like a lot of the dudes that we're going to talk about, and a lot of artists now, like who really I think do it for us, are a huge Silver Age influence on their work, and it seems like they're pulling from guys who are just legends in the business, and like doing their own thing at the same time. You see a lot of Steranko coming through in a lot of people's art. You see a lot of like kind of Bruce Timm stuff, a lot of who's a dude who did New Frontier, Darwin Cook. Even though like he's an established artist, but there's like that simplicity of a lot of lines coming through with a lot of these guys' work. you know? I think like a good example would be probably Francis Manapul, who does
amazing
The Flash right now. And this dude, basically, and like a lot of these guys start with kind of like semi-independent projects. So they do like a couple of fill-ins for like Image or like a G.I. Joe book, and DC gave Francis Manapul a really like time to shine in The Flash.
Yeah,
and he's co-writing it.
Yeah,
or
I think he may be the only dude on the book. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Just him?
It's Buccellato and Manapul doing the story, and Manapul doing the art. So his art is fantastic, man. Like when you look at those first 5 issues of The Flash, you'll see some beautiful stuff in there. And the book is still relatively new, so you can go and pick it up and just enjoy it, because he infuses a lot of really cool, kind of old school. I feel like like old school TV
Yeah.
style work,
Mhm.
and like kind of like old ad work.
Yeah, the
You
faded
know?
look to it.
Yeah.
What's interesting about him, especially with the how impressive the dude is. Before he came onto this book, and he's done Flash before, I appreciate his art, but I didn't really he wasn't a favorite of mine. I would never recall him as being like, oh man, I can't wait for that Francis Manapul book.
Yeah.
And plus, I'm always wary when artists are doing that crossover to the writing chores. And the dude had to carry the Flash book after coming through years of Jeff Johns stuff at his peak. But this dude killed it. He really, really brought his A game, and it wasn't something I expected. When that first issue dropped, I remember the sequence wherein he's from the first page, splash page with the credits and everything on it.
Right.
He always does a great job. It looks like the one that's gonna the splash page is gonna cost the most money if you're to buy that piece of art.
Yeah.
But also his storytelling was great. I can't wait to see him in the next few months or whatever doing guys like Captain Cold and the classic rogues and everything, because this really was kind of lacking on that.
Well, you look for I think that's the thing about him too, is you look forward to what he's gonna do and his take on different characters. I know I don't really like the redesigns for a lot of these guys' costumes, and I thought the idea of Flash having that segmented costume was kind of cool, but he took it to the next level where he filled in the segmentations with
lightning,
with the Speed Force and the lightning, and it looks really awesome because it looks like he's running and charging up and running faster, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, he looks kinetic at all times, and it looks really, really impressive. And I really have always liked the really simple way of the Flash costume looking, especially the way that the same way that me and you identified the difference between Barry Allen and Wally West was Wally West had the belt that went to a V, and then Barry had the one that went straight across, and now Barry is rocking the new style V.
Right.
But his I was very against all these segmented costumes, but his looks so great. And I hated the idea of the way that it came onto him, how it came in pieces around him when he opened up his ring.
Right.
Because I love that old floppy costume coming out, but there was, I think it was the last issue before this one.
Yeah.
Where he
comes
out of a window
yeah.
and it comes around him, and it's such an awesome sequence, and it just rocks.
It's a great pick for an artist for a Flash book because he makes everything look so fluid, and even though we'll talk about this book later, but he's one of those artists that can kind of take, if it came down to it, a mediocre story and make it look amazing.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. Yeah, he's has something really special going on with that book.
Yeah.
This was a complete surprise for me. It really floored me. It was a book I was really hesitant with, and he did a great job. He really is an amazing artist.
Yeah, it's one of the better relaunch books because of that.
Yeah, man.
Also, and you mentioned that you do not like the artist turning writer thing. My language is not good today. But James William III, I think, was on your list, right?
Yeah. Well, this dude, since I first saw James William III in Promethea, he blew my mind. We always talk at length about this guy.
Yeah.
His art, I think, can really kind of come into the same category as Francis Manapul at a point, just because of the way that he does a lot of the paneling and the image that we're gonna have up in a little while of the way that he lays out a page, and he really goes in a weird what's the word, mosaics and blendings, and he's bending reality, and the guy turns out to be a tremendous writer.
Yeah.
That was another concern in my mind when Batwoman started, was I was worried that Greg Rucka wasn't going to be on the book anymore. He created Batwoman and really made the character his own, but the art is so crazy and it's so well done, and it's really innovative, and the writing is amazing, but the dude is just such I can't. It's so hard to explain his style.
Yeah.
It's he makes Batwoman almost look alien because she's so pale.
Right. It's personally, when I read Batwoman or I see James Williams' art, especially contained in that little book, it's almost like you're walking through a museum.
Yeah.
And the pieces, even though you're confined to comic book size stuff, the pieces feel like they're so big.
Yeah, man.
And they kind of wrap around you. And he always has. It's great because you'll have panels where he'll have like a bat symbol in the middle. I think we showed that.
Yeah,
picture. He had like a bat symbol in the middle, and it's like segmented into like a cracked mirror, and each panel is something different, and your eyes don't lose sight of where they're supposed to go.
Yeah,
you know?
that's it. That's the thing I'm always concerned about this type of art, where some people call it busy or whatever. The dude fills the entire page. Like the dude very rarely uses dead space. And a lot of times it's stuff like that when you're kind of like breaking the rules on paneling and the way that your eye's supposed to move. A lot of times you will get kind of confused. I don't think I've ever read a Batwoman issue or a Promethea issue where I kind of got lost in the shuffle and didn't figure out which word balloon I was supposed to be reading first. It still flows wonderfully. There's like that dude has a complete mastery of the craft.
I think he's I would go so far as to say that he is like an artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, it also feels too? It feels like it's a weird, like, blend between, like, being claustrophobic and, having a complete vast, scope. Because it always feels like you're kind of closed in. Like, the page itself cannot contain the size of what he's putting onto the one page. Because you really do, the book always takes me a while to read to actually, go through.
It's a good book to sit there and absorb, and again, like you're limited to that size, and you just feel you're lost in the artwork, and the story, and it's great. That's what you want out of comic books. You don't want. I want to look at it. I want to look at it with my eyes open and feel like I'm there, as opposed to looking at a comic and then knowing my TV's on in the background.
I want to look at it.
I just want to look at it.
I want to look at it.
Show it to me. Who else do I got? Another up and comer, which is getting not getting major work for a company, but I think she's the only female on our list. Becky Cloonan. She has been around for quite a few years. I think we're around the same age. I think she's approaching 30, maybe past 30. But if anybody ever read it, she did Demo.
She did, which is an amazing story.
She did. I forgot what it was like her autobiographical one. It was something about like travels in the East Coast, where it was like her story of coming to like New York and stuff. But her art is beautiful and clean, and I appreciate the fact that it's a female drawing as fantastically in a medium dominated mostly by men.
And the fact that she's coming onto Conan.
Yeah.
She's getting like the manliest book out there.
Exactly.
And she's still knocking around with the best of them. Like Demo is an amazing story.
Yeah.
She collaborates with Brian Wood all the time. She did a bunch of issues of Northlanders, which is an amazing Viking book. The Demo stuff, like her art has really come a long way, and like we're were like knowing it a bit for the first issue of Conan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like we both follow her on Instagram, and like she's constantly putting up like art pieces.
And it's like just little panels, man. They're gorgeous.
It's so nice, and like it just really like works. It's kind of that same style that you've been talking about, where it's very clean. It lends very closely to like Cliff Chang and those guys. And it's just really, really well done. I'd love to see her do a little bit more superhero stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's maybe like a goal for any artist. Even if you don't, I know like a lot of dudes out there really could care less about the big two companies, but I don't know. In my head, like as a fanboy, I'm like, just get over it, dude.
Yeah, you want to see
Draw
that
Batman.
Stuff. Yeah, why not? I think everyone's got a Batman story in them if they have the talent.
Oh, absolutely.
I had a point and I can't remember what it was about her. Oh, I would like to really see her do like a book like X-Force when Mike Oliver was on. Like I like to see because she has that weird indie quality to her.
Yeah.
Maybe do like Strange Tales for Marvel or something like that.
Well, I mean, like I always appreciate that kind of like indie style quality because those dudes always nail facial expressions completely. And I'm huge on facial expressions in a book, and you never really had like mastery like you have now of facial expressions. You had your go-to guys. You have Steve Dillon, who's been around forever, and you had Kevin McGuire.
Yeah.
And then like before that, I'm not talking about like the Silver Age guys because like Kirby was the man at crazy ass facial expressions.
Yeah.
And you have like dudes like Steranko too, and one of my favorites. I totally forgot his name. He recently died too. And I suck for not remembering it.
Who died?
Just draw Tomb of Dracula, Daredevil.
Ooh. I don't remember his name.
Did some Nick Fury stuff. That guy.
It's not Steranko.
Not Steranko.
I don't know.
I'm completely drawing. Anyway, apart from those dudes, you really don't have that kind of mastery of facial expression. She is fantastic
Yeah,
at capturing
man.
facial expressions, you know. And in those independent books, a lot of the stuff she has are like heavy. What's up? Gene Colan.
Yeah, Gene Colan.
Gene
Yeah.
Colan, master facial expressions. But a lot of more independent books, a lot of them deal with more emotional stuff than guys throwing buildings at each other. You know, so you need that to come across
I like that.
in in your artwork.
It's not just people throwing buildings at each other.
So I mean, I'm completely looking forward to that Conan run. You know.
Yeah, man. She's gonna be something special. Give her a few more years.
Yeah.
Even I think Conan's really gonna establish her as one of like the big names. Like she still is like I feel she's like right on the cusp. I would have loved to have seen her do that unfinished Victor Von Doom mini.
Yeah.
That was a shame that didn't ever get made.
Not even out the gate, man. It was just snuffed. One thing, hopefully the Conan stuff puts her on the map. You know,
I think so.
because it could go. I hope it doesn't, but it could go the opposite. Because remember, Carrie Nord was one of the most amazing artists on earth, and arguably the sickest Conan artist thus far.
Yeah, but at least
Yeah.
I think the general comic fans knew a little bit more about Carrie Nord before Conan. I don't think his name was really even close to being out there.
Right.
He's not as working to the degree that he should be working because
Right.
the dude is brilliant. But I think everyone kind of picked up on, whenever there's a new Conan release, there's always kind of an announcement or something like that. There's always a little bit more attention, brought to that creative team.
Yeah.
My next dude
Go for
is
it, bro.
a gentleman by the name of Jerome Opina.
Bro it up, man.
This dude killed it on
Uh-huh.
X-Force.
Yeah.
I've spoken at length how much I love X-Force, but this dude has such he's got a weird Eastside Ribic, style to it.
Yeah.
He makes everything look like dark as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. He does great action sequences. In a book that almost the entire team is in black and white, he
Yeah.
really makes everyone look very unique, really awesome.
Makes everything pop too.
Yeah,
You know?
every single one of this guy's issues
Yeah.
really were something special. The end of the storyline, especially if you were a classic comic fan in the last 20 years, you probably loved Age of Apocalypse. This is an excuse to see all those
Yeah.
dudes, back in action and better than ever. The dude did one of my favorite sequences. He fought the X-Men were fighting, the X-Force was fighting the Age of Apocalypse version of Iceman,
Right.
who became a bad guy once he came over to our world. And the dude has super ridiculous Iceman powers.
Yeah.
And it's basically Wolverine fighting a 100-foot gigantic Iceman,
Yeah.
climbing him up, and on his body are tons of little tiny Icemen.
Yeah.
It was such a cool sequence.
Yeah.
The dude consistently puts out an incredible package.
He does. I mean, what I really like about his art is there's so much. It looks like everything's falling apart. You
Yeah.
know, but in a nice way. It's very. He has kind of that Jeff Darrow
Yeah,
thing
dude.
going on.
Yeah.
But the detail and intricacy in all this guy does, like the cityscapes that he's drawing, making everything pop off the page. And again, it's a good combination. You combine that with Remender's storytelling, and you have a bona fide winner.
Yeah, man. It is a bona fide. You're bona fide. I'm bona fide. Cobra's bona fide.
What's up, Coke? You bona fide?
Bona fide. Solid, dude. Solid book.
Very fantastic. Awesome artist, man. I want to see more stuff from him.
Yeah.
I would like to see again, you can't shove work on these guys' plates because the work will suffer. But again, as a fan, nobody would think to pick up X-Force, you know, and I didn't, and it's fantastic. It's one of the best books on the shelf. But you want to see this dude do the shit that's in your head.
Well, yeah,
you know?
you want to see. I think if you get a certain artist that you kind of are drawn to,
Yeah.
you want to see them do all your favorites. You want to see him a Batman pinup. You want to see this. You want to see that, and you want to see how they communicate the storytelling with whoever wonderful writer they get hooked up with. Opina is just I think that dude can do a lot, and the fact that he did most of X-Force. I think he took one break during one of the runs, maybe for 3 or 4 issues. But that dude was consistently on time, releasing sometimes 2 books a month. That dude is fast and really, really well done. That guy's an awesome artist. He could be my favorite this year.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool.
Could be my
I like
favorite.
that. I like that. I want to throw it. This dude's been around for a while, but I really don't think any mainstream comic book fan knows him. Duncan Fegredo, who is British, which I did not know.
Who'd have thought?
Yeah, I thought he was like Portuguese or something.
Yeah.
But this dude is. People get worried, and as a fan, you'll have this kind of fear where you don't like change, like drastic change.
Mm-hmm.
The Hellboy book started out with essentially Mike Mignola doing everything, writing and art, and it's such a definitive style. And he brought on like Guy Davis to do like the BPRD stuff, which is great.
That
The
dude rocked.
guy's awesome, and it's like in your head you're like, this is a supplementary book. It's not Hellboy. It's not the main character. We're not gonna lose Mignola,
Yeah.
But Mignola left, and they're like, all right, this guy's gonna replace him. And this I love the Duncan Fegredo stuff in Hellboy, man. Like, he draws a fantastic Hellboy, and it's like you can tell every issue that he has done, he's grown as an artist.
Yeah.
And like some of the like the pinups and commissions that this guy's done with these characters are friggin' mind blowing.
Well, I think the first time I really noticed the dude was when he did Hellboy, The Wild Hunt.
Uh-huh.
And it was just like, that was the beginning of like Hellboy mixing in with like the Arthurian legend, stuff like that. So you had a lot of like really like awesome stuff, like when they first showed the hunter, the stag headed dude. It just looked really, really impressive. And like, yeah, man, everyone who Mignola has an amazing eye for getting talent onto his books and still maintain that kind of uniform way of, like, this is the way that Hellboy is kind of supposed to look. But still maintaining the uniqueness of each of these guys' artist style. Yeah. Like, Guy Davis is very, very different from Duncan. Yeah. But like Duncan brings it, man. Guy's amazing.
Yeah. He draws an awesome Hellboy. Like, again, he has that kind of style where it looks like, like dudes are falling apart, but it's like, it's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think those two extremes, like the same qualities we're talking about over and over again. The simplicity of like someone like Mickey Cloonan, like Stuart Immonen and Cliff Chang, and then on the other flip side, we really enjoy people who are like the abstract. Yeah. Who you're like, say, when Mignola was doing Hellboy, how everything was fading into darkness. I love like his element of they kept on repeating that image of like the Iron Maiden in the darkness like over and over again, like the last few issues, and they carried over. Even that Duncan was drawing it, it was still like maintained that Mignola element, right? Yeah. But he has a very, very. I want to see where he's gonna go with his story. I hope he still works on either BPRD or Hellboy.
You know what I'd love to see him on? Doctor Strange.
That would be really awesome. Yeah. I would see that, yeah.
Doctor Strange deals with I don't like it when dudes draw Doctor Strange real jacked up.
Yeah. He's ripping up our contracts.
Oh, man. Are we back in the hole?
Messed up, dude. Messed up.
I love Jack Doctor Strange. Yeah,
I'd like to see him do fill-ins for Defenders. That'd be awesome.
That would be fantastic, yeah. Any monster stuff. Anything. Anything with Fing Fang Foom. Yeah. Throw it in there. Purple undies Fing Fang Foom.
I would like to see him I would really like to see him do some Hulk stuff. Yeah. I think some like a dark, weird Hulk story would be really, really awesome.
That would be some cool stuff. Yeah,
FF would be awesome. He would be great on like not Fantastic Four, but FF
with Dragon Man. Yeah, you just want to see him draw Dragon Man.
I want to see him draw the kids and Dragon Man. I want to see because like there's such a wide variety of like characters in that team, and I think it's just like to play with the making each person unique. I think it would be really a lot of fun with that dude.
It would be. Love it. Who do you got?
Who else I got?
You want to do one more and then
sure
jump into the books?
Who have I talked about? I'm not gonna talk about that, dude. Who you got? You got anyone else? I feel like I exhausted my list a little.
You want to go Francesco? Or
yeah,
we always talk about him though.
Let's do it in the morning.
All right, Stuart Immonen.
Stuart Immonen.
Go.
Stuart Immonen. That guy cranks out a lot of stuff. That guy went from I think the first time I really noticed the dude was when he was working on Next Wave. Yeah. Next Wave was one of the more unique products of Warren Ellis and Marvel's relationship. A lot of weird characters, a lot of incredible paneling, and again, like really similar to like Cliff Chang and these guys who really do that simplistic style. And he was the dude who successfully took the reins from Mark Bagley after his like mammoth run and did a tremendous job.
He stepped into some mighty shoes, man.
Yeah, no one wanted to go after Bagley.
Yeah, but the thing with Immonen is that like you've through his work with Marvel, like you've seen him grow completely as an artist, he went from like having like that very, and it still is like a little bit like that, like a very nice 2-dimensional. I mean, it's obviously 2-dimensional, but like that very flat kind of art style. to just doing like these gigantic pieces and battle scenes and like real cool stuff, man. Like really, I feel like his work is extremely heartfelt. You know, he brings out like what makes a character shine.
Yeah, man.
You know, in his work, and like there's also similarities. Like he doesn't draw everybody the same,
No.
but you know he has such a definitive style where the way he draws like the archetypes of like sizes,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. You know,
Well, look what he did with like Fear itself. They handed him like a huge, massive like there's 100 freaking characters you have to draw.
Yep.
You know, deal with a ton of big action scenes, bunch of big set pieces.
Yep.
And he did a great job. He doesn't skip a beat, and he's another dude who is like on time,
Yeah.
all the time. That was the first Marvel miniseries in I don't know how long that actually shipped on time.
Really.
Every single
Yeah.
issue shipped on time. But that dude rocks, man. His wife, you like this?
Because I imagine them being like, "We will pay you $5,000 a page." And he's like, "I'll be done in 20 minutes."
No problem. I've been working on it while you're speaking to me. Dude, he rocks. He's there's something very, very unique about him. I just any book that guy gets on, I'm very excited about.
Yeah.
Next Wave was a masterpiece. We showed some pictures before.
Love Next Wave.
Like one of my favorite sequences ever was the repetition of the when they're going through hallway to hallway and they're fighting like the Elvis Modocs and like the apes and like the scrolls, and it's like every page is a gigantic splash page and just like incredible.
Yeah,
dude.
like I really that's again another book which I really wish, you know, you have to have the fantastic writer, fantastic artist team. You know,
Yeah, man.
At this point, I think you know, comics are you know, companies are trying to gear comics towards kids. You know, everything's tying into it, movies, action figures, everything like that. But the dudes who are buying the comics are guys who have jobs, and you know, they have the
I hope
money.
so.
And I would hope so.
I also there's also the dude who threw bricks through the window, still comic books.
That's true. But you know, you have like dudes who have money who maybe you're just like, I want it. I need this.
I want it willingly.
I need this comic right now in my hand. I don't care what it looks like, you know. But I feel like to like maybe more, you can't really gear towards a discerning fan. But like again, a book like Next Wave, which really didn't sell too well, you had friggin' Warren Ellis and Stuart Immonen doing it, you know.
Yeah. And it's still regarded as like a great cult classic. I still don't think that it's been truly embraced. Like for us, like people who are in like the comic book culture, they know about Next Wave.
Right.
The guy who's just going through graphic novels to buy on a a Sunday afternoon has no idea to go anywhere near Next Wave.
Right.
It doesn't have any characters that even know.
Well, I mean, like that says a lot about fandom too, because you'll have a guy who does that and looks through it and he's like, "This is what a comic book should look like." But then you look at a book like Batwoman and you're like, "This is what a comic book should look like." Like it'll blow you. It blows your mind. You know, when you put a lot of books aside, like take any other DC book that came out in the last few months, that doesn't have like a major star on it.
I don't wanna.
You know,
I don't want to take
and
it.
compare it to Batwoman. Compare like Teen Titans. To Batwoman, or not even Teen. I'm sorry. Compare Blackhawks to Batwoman. You know, and these are two books who were relaunched at the same time, which have a lot of potential. And you have Batwoman, which is like the Mona Lisa, and you have Blackhawks, which look like my morning dump. You know? Again, no offense if anybody who works on Blackhawks and is a fan of the show. Probably not, you know. Sorry. Or if anybody who's a fan of Blackhawks or just Hawks in general, my apologies.
Or well, I don't know, man. It does reflect great poorly on the rest of your. You do make everyone look pretty terrible when you're standing up against James William III.
Yeah,
It's pretty bad.
But I mean, like it should give it should give everybody something to shoot for.
Shoot for.
Not shit for.
Shit for.
Something to shoot for.
I want to shit for that. We got
what?
We have this many left.
That
Yeah.
what this?
Yeah.
We have 10 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. This many.
This many.
Give me a 1 minute countdown like
I'm
this later.
spinning in a circle.
All right, so we're gonna bang out some books of the week right now.
Bang them out.
And number one, Image 20th anniversary apparently.
How about that?
And which is awesome. They made it.
They made it.
They definitely made it, and they're still cranking out quality books. And the best quality book they got, Walking Dead.
Walking Dead.
Walking Dead number 93 came out, and look at that cover, man. That is a beautiful cover. Charlie Adler again. Like Charlie Adler's on the list of awesome artists, but like this is all he does.
Yeah.
You know, I want to see him.
I thought about putting him on the list also.
I would say I want to see him do Batman.
That'd be good.
Do a detective.
This
story.
book was really, really rocking.
Yeah.
This is the beginning of a new story arc.
called A Larger World.
This is the repercussions of the new character Jesus, who is apparently the leader of a massive community that is right outside the walls of Rick's community.
Right.
And Rick is going local bananas.
Rick is he's
slowly
the bad
becoming,
guy.
yeah, he's slowly becoming his worst nightmare and becoming
Yeah.
the governor.
And it's out of habit. It's like out of habit and instinct and just being burned in the past. You know, he's turning into that maniac. Like he knocks a dude out and he takes his SWAT team and he's like, we're gonna find him. We're gonna look for people. There's nobody here. Maybe he's telling the truth. Maybe this guy's telling the truth.
And if he's not telling the truth, we're gonna murder him.
We're gonna murder everything and we're gonna murder everybody and take everything.
Yeah.
You know, that's that.
Well, that's
yeah.
I think that's the beauty of it is that a lot of the stuff that Rick has been doing as severe as he has been, I agree with a lot of it. If you start problems, you should be shot. If if you can't pull your weight, you're gonna get shot. Like I do believe in that because it's really the world is pretty terrible.
True.
But yeah, you saw the beginnings of him, his insanity kind of like coming to the forefront.
Yeah.
And like Abraham is pulling his car like right in front of everybody.
Yeah.
He's like, maybe you're not such a good leader.
That is a good voice to give Abraham. And Rick's all like, don't snort none, you won't get none.
And also what's I think really great about this is you really have no idea where it's going because with the Jesus character, you're either going that he is like a great dude and he's gonna die for Rick's sins and he's gonna probably get murdered, then they're actually gonna start a war.
Yeah.
Or that this dude is really malevolent and he's a terrible person.
That's true.
Which is always like the safe bet.
It can still go either way, but you also get the hint that he is a bad dude, man. Like this guy is a legitimate badass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I like Rick's observation about him. The fact that like people who are innocent are usually fighting to get out of their cells.
Yeah.
And people who are terrible human beings are usually sitting calmly waiting for the next conversation.
Kirkman watched The Usual Suspects before he wrote that line.
Yeah.
That's from Usual
That's
Suspects.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I'll flip you for real. He was in the cell.
I'll flip you. I'll flip you for real.
So yeah, it was a fantastic book. It's getting crazy. There's a lot of
and we're leading up to 100.
We're leading up to 200. There's a lot of meat in this book. It's a very thick book. You have a lot of stuff going on. You also have Rick talking to what's his name? Eugene.
Yeah.
The
creep.
The fat scientist.
Yeah.
Who's like again like I would not trust this guy to have him make bullets for me.
I'm gonna make your bullets for you.
I'm gonna make these bullets for you, man. Like I figured it out. You just get shell casings and
I did some research.
banana peels. It's like, you work on that, dude.
Collect the old bullets, and I'm gonna start making some new bullets.
I think that's
It's gonna screw up.
I think it's gonna backfire because I feel like it's something.
All the guns
that,
explode.
Yeah, I feel like it's something that he says to Rick, and Rick just kind of like has other stuff on his head, and he's make new bullets.
Yeah,
man.
smart guy. Yeah, you're a smart guy.
And or like that. I feel like the bullet thing is gonna be major.
Yeah.
Jesus gets a hold of a gun with these crappy bullets, and just like blows his hand off.
That could be something.
Yeah. Or Rick blows his other hand off. He's got two hooks for a hand, and they put a hook in Carl's face.
Imagine he lost another. More mutilation.
He's got a hook eye.
More mutilation.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna be able to talk about the other books.
No.
No.
Well, let's at least jump into. You want to do the double Fantastic Four?
Yeah. Can you just read off the line for me? Can you get that ready?
The what? Yeah. Talk about this, Jamie. And
two gigantic, awesome releases: Fantastic Four and FF. Really solid books, both written by Jonathan Hickman. You've got an incredible scene in Fantastic Four, but something that really jumped off because they're kind of like parallel to each other. And they're different sides of the equation of the same story. But Doom is fighting off Celestials, basically sacrificing himself for the betterment of the FF team. And he drops 2 lines, which are like defining awesome Von Doom stuff.
Well, yeah, he's talking to Valeria, and he's like really oddly sweet to her.
Yeah,
even though she's
he's the father. He's the adopted father kind of,
and
foster dad.
She's like, don't worry, I'm not gonna die. I know it. And then he turns around and goes, "I'm Doom, destroyer of worlds. What gods dare stand against me?"
So good.
And you root for for this dude, and then he sees the Celestials, and he's like, "I'm a foolish, prideful man. Perhaps this is the day I pay too high a price for it." And then he's like, no, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah,
stuff over here."
he juices up and he's about to blast the Celestials.
So he gets blasted away, but at the same time, like Doom never dies, man.
No.
Yeah, like Doom will always be back. Really cool stuff. Really excellent issue. It's really wacky. I don't think it's for the. I really don't think it's for the fair weather fan.
No.
Because just like the scope of like the insanity of the story, because like you said, it parallels what's going on in Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
You know, and in Fantastic Four, you also have the returning Johnny Storm. And like
you have Galactus as
Yeah.
as basically an extension of the Fantastic Four, as
Yeah.
a kind of a weapon who's about to like throw down the Celestials in space, which was an awesome scene
Yeah.
of like a gigantic Kree fleet
Yeah.
in space, and then Galactus appearing in the middle of them,
Hey.
and like just ships just bouncing off his chest. It's an awesome shot.
with a bright butterfly on his chest.
I don't mind it.
You know what? Like we were arguing about this all week, and they show a few issues ago. Galactus told Reed, I will help you. Summon me when you'll know when the time is right."
Mm-hmm.
So Reed thinks that it's the Kree Armada, and he's like, "We can't win this. Everybody's gonna die. Black Bolt's here. I'm gonna call Galactus." And then he shows up in the middle of the Armada, and he has like the green, the glowy Galactus circle, and then like butterfly wings, like glowing
The
butterfly
tramp stamp on
wings.
his chest.
And this is like I was sunning in Cabo. And he had to call
Excuse me.
I'm on vacation.
I'm so hungry.
And
Famished.
so he tells Reed, he's like, "I've been eating 4 worlds in preparation for this."
Dude, it's gonna be awesome.
And Reed's like, "So this isn't it? Like this isn't it?" And Galactus goes, "No." And he turns around and there's like not a million, but there's like 10 Celestials behind
That
him.
was awesome. And also, what we didn't talk about was how awesome both Invisible Woman and Giant Storm were in this issue.
Oh yeah.
Because you kind of like you had Giant Storm basically defending his like light brigade in like his big ship or whatever.
Yeah.
And he gets overrun by Krees and he basically burns everyone's heads off.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it's like parallel with Invisible Woman trying to fight other Kree, and he's like, you don't want me to do this, and she basically makes bubbles around anyone and chokes them to death,
sucks them all out. Yeah. And what's his like the high?
I love who's
not the High Evolutionary, the Supreme Intelligence.
Yeah, I love those scenes.
And he's just like, he wants to go at it, man. And
The art was
doesn't get it.
amazing for this book. I love him on the book. Who's this, Eaglesham?
No, this is Kitson.
It's
old school,
so
man.
good, man.
Brad Kitson is a fantastic artist, man, and he did that. What is it, Sovereign? Am I thinking? Is that the right one? That weird DC.
It was supposed to be like the champ. Oh, that one. I was thinking
Yeah.
of the Champions thing that they were going to do for
No.
Marvel with Henry Hellrung, which is still one of my favorite names.
No, that isn't all.
The
his name.
Order. He did Empire.
Is Empire the one I'm thinking of?
With Golgoth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
Dr. Doom
the-
archetype.
yeah. That was really awesome, man. That really turned me on his artwork. A lot of good stuff in here. Crazy Galactus stuff. And then the resolution is the Celestials.
More
showing up,
stuff
man.
happening in the next issue.
And everybody's shocked because they're there. The Celestials have been coming back and showing up in the Marvel Universe a lot
All the
lately.
books.
And you still don't know what they do, why they're here, where they're going.
And they all talk. They've been in S.H.I.E.L.D.,
Yeah.
they've been in Uncanny X-Men.
Mhm.
They've been all over, which I think is we're all going to get a little bit of teasing. Well, this is not going to have anything to do with anything
Mhm.
else because Fantastic
Yeah.
Four is very self-contained right now. But
yeah.
dude, it rocked. It was just both these
Mhm.
issues coming out the same week is great for the storytelling element of
Mhm.
the cohesive Fantastic Four universe.
Absolutely. I think, again, like the fanboy thing in me, and I'm sure you've had the same thoughts too, that this may maybe do some Earth X stuff.
I love
You
it.
know, because
I think they are doing something with Franklin Richards and Galactus coming soon.
Yeah.
I think that would be really, really cool.
and the celestial seed inside the planet.
Yeah,
You
man.
know, that because like that I think that was established in modern continuity, right?
I don't think it was ever
No.
used before.
Yeah.
FX. I don't think so.
Okay, very interesting.
Could be wrong.
And the world may never know.
We'll never know.
So, all right, I think that about wraps it up for this episode of Behind the Counter. I am your host, Rich Stambolian.
And I am the king in the north.
King of the North.
King in the north.
King of the
King in the north.
King of the North.
I know my stuff.
Go watch Game of Thrones, everybody. I did.